Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
It's time again for a show about your money and your life. Hello, everybody. Welcome to what we call Talking Real Money. Because we talk about money with you, hopefully, at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. So, if you're listening to us on a Saturday afternoon anywhere in America, give us a call at 855-935-TALK because we're live if it's a Saturday afternoon. If it's not a Saturday afternoon, then we're on what we still refer to as tape. Not sure why. Old habits.
What do you call it? I mean, what is it then? It's just like
a
digital.
Yeah, it's
something.
digital.
Okay.
It's all digital. We're all little ones and zeros. We're just a series. That's what we've been reduced to, a series of ones and zeros. I want to be
well,
a one.
And since this show's about money, I'll take a one. Yeah, sure. Anybody else can keep the zero. I'll take the one on that one. No brainer.
So give us a call, 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. I'm Don McDonald. That's Tom Cock over there. And look at this. Holy mackerel. Wow. The T. Rowe Price Prime Reserve Fund yielding 16.76% daily liquidity. Wow. And you could have that yield if you could just figure out how to go back in time 40 years. It is, September 30th is the 40th anniversary of the highest interest rates in America since they kept records of interest rates. That was September 30th, 1981.
1981. So, but you could get a 20-year Treasury bond that'll pay you 15.78. I'd rather have that, actually.
But what's funny is that we had money markets yielding 16.76.
Yeah.
And 20-year bonds yielding 15.78, and people wouldn't buy. You couldn't give away. I, by the way, was a stockbroker then.
Were you really in 81?
I was trying to sell
what were
these
you
products.
Pitching?
I was trying to get people to buy the Dean Witter U.S. Government Plus Fund, which was
what's the plus? Please, Don, tell us what the plus is.
They enhanced the yield somehow. I don't remember how they did it.
Oh, whoa. You don't know. That has a very familiar ring. Don't worry, you get the enhancement, but we don't know how we do it. It's all good.
Well, it would have required reading the prospectus carefully.
Oh, yeah, there's that. Yeah, but I'll just, I get my nice big commission off it, of course.
Let me be honest, which few in the financial industry are. I was paid to sell stuff, not to understand it.
What was your commission on that particular product? Since it's in-house, it had to be huge.
It was a B share. So we didn't charge the customer anything.
There's no commission at all.
We didn't charge him anything up front. What did I get on it? I got 5% gross. 5% gross.
That's pretty good payday if somebody chalks in, 40, 50 grand.
But the problem with being a broker is you just had to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over.
You got to call the next guy. You got to get in there.
Dialing for dollars. But that isn't astonishing that 40 years ago, interest rates on safe securities were heading for, they had almost reached 20%.
Yeah, I think
times have changed.
Well, yeah, it's that. But I think also the takeaway is, at the time, what did they say?
What did they say?
About the future. Some people said, well, rates are never going down.
Rates are. Why would I tie my money up at a mere 16% when I can get 17 every day? I'm just going to keep buying the short term. Yeah, because why would we do that? Why would we do that, Tom?
Well, you wouldn't. I mean, and so.
Yes, they did.
I know, but here's the thing. What are they saying today about interest? What have they been saying the last 10 years about interest rates?
They
12
can't
years.
go any lower. They must go higher.
What have they done?
Oh, I know what they've done. They've gone lower.
I know.
I mean, we had a little blip recently where we've had longer-term rates sneak up. The 10-year treasuries have been sneaking up. Yeah. But
it's fairly low. But can we use Jason's quote here?
Oh, I love this quote.
Hindsight is 20/20, but foresight, that's legally blind.
That's the problem, folks, and that's the lesson from this, is that when it comes to predicting the future based on the present, we are all legally blind. You have no foresight. 855-935-TALK is our phone number.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free, no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
As mentioned before the break, we were talking about interest rates 40 years ago, almost 40 years ago to the day, really close. On September 30th, 1981, this according to Jason Zweig in the Wall Street Journal, the Treasury Department had to price 20-year treasuries that they needed to sell to yield almost 16% on September 30th, 1981. The next day, the market began one of the most dramatic turns in interest rates we've ever seen. Within 6 days, rates had gone down a percentage point. With just a few weeks later, by Thanksgiving, down to 11.
And they lost like 3%. Oh, 4.
Then by 1986, just 5 years later, yields were down 50%.
Well, that's because my economic policy was working out, Don, you know.
Yeah. Thank you, Gipper.
No, I mean, that's an astounding story at many levels. Number one, think if you had bought those government bonds and then held them to maturity.
Oh, my gosh, a 30-year. A 30-year would have just stopped paying off 10 years ago.
I know, you would have made... They were like, what? You're getting 12%? Whatever. I mean, it's
but
crazy.
You want to look at it from another perspective, too. When you look back at those returns and you go, that regret thing. I wish I'd gotten those returns. Darn it. Why didn't I? But the reality is, if you look back 90 years, your return on stocks has averaged about 10% per year for just putting up with some downtimes.
Yeah, deal with the volatility, sure.
Don't want to play the market or try to pick stocks, and you can't predict the future. That's the main point. That is the moral of this story. The future is absolutely unpredictable, period.
Even when it comes to something as safe as U.S. government bonds.
You can't predict them. 855-935-TALK. That is our phone number, and we now have Janet on the line with a question. Hi, Janet.
Hi. Just calling on. It's remarkable that you're talking about the bonds, because I'm calling about a few weeks ago. You mentioned buying the government bonds, and I did that. I went online and got my account and bought a treasury bond for the $10,000.
Oh, the I bonds.
The I bond, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the program told me at the time that there was a glitch and my buy did not go through. So I backed out of it and re-entered my information and did it all over again. And I thought, well, okay, that's great. Well, the next day I get a nice little email saying that I bought two.
You bought two. You bought two.
Which means you're over.
Now you're in trouble because you can only can buy 10,000. Yeah.
You just have to contact them.
Yeah,
but it's going to be a pain.
For doing that?
No, you need to contact them and tell them what happened and have them back.
I have an alternative.
Have them
I have
back
an alternative
one of those
idea.
Really?
Yeah, I will buy those from you for $8,000.
Oh, well, that's a terrible idea. Pay no attention to
Tom. Okay. I'm trying to help out
There is, when you go back to Treasury Direct, down in the lower right-hand corner, there's a little green question mark. Click on the little green question mark, and then there's a link that their website is so outdated. It is doesn't shock me, but my goodness, their website is outdated. There's a link to send them an email. Tell them exactly what you just told me and ask them to please back out one of those transactions. And I am confident they will do it. It just might take a while because the government is running at a very slow pace right now.
Like their website.
Yeah, like their website.
And thank you for buying those I-bonds because the government, is also running a little light, so they could probably use the cash.
Hard,
No,
that money
isn't that...
moving.
You got to keep money moving. There you go. Thank you for calling, Janet. I wish you the best.
I wasn't really being silly there. That's
yes,
true. Don't they need money?
Were.
They keep saying they're going to raise tax and need more money, et cetera. Okay, maybe not. That's just
I know. Now
yeah?
I know without a doubt
yes,
who is responsible for the review we received this week. From one of our
bad
podcast
review.
listeners.
Podcast review. Okay.
Podcast review. I know who's responsible. Would you like to hear the review?
Yeah, but I do want to mention, because we don't mention this very often in the broadcast.
Sure.
This program you're listening to right now
becomes
the most part, becomes 2 podcasts.
For the most
Monday
part.
and Tuesday.
Pretty much in its entirety.
Well, no, because I've listened. No, this is where I've listened. Don edits my pithy, important, and critical comments out many times and puts his in place. So just know if you're listening to the podcast, you're missing some of me.
And
Get
again,
over it.
Again, that's part of the problem, and you'll see it right here. In fact, that is number 3 in
I'm glad to be number 3.
List of complaints. Are you
okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And a matter of fact, number 3 and number 4 are your fault.
Oh, wow.
Actually, well, number 4
2 out of 4.
Number 4 is Comcast's fault, but it's your fault for having them. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The first line is really nice. You can learn a great deal about investing from this podcast. Now the bad news. If you can withstand the rapid-fire bad jokes.
I wouldn't call them rapid fire either, but okay.
I think you tried
bad jokes.
I think you tried like 6 during that caller. I don't know.
That's true.
3 to 5, somewhere in there.
Fair enough. All right.
Ready? Now this is you too. Severely outdated references. Oh, you remember that 1960s movie?
They say not to use you messages. So anyway, go ahead.
Thick as molasses sarcasm.
Well, that was good timing there. That was pretty much perfect.
Yep.
And I didn't have any lead up to that, so how would I have known? That's good. Thank you.
And your voice just started glitching, which fits right in with and regular tech issues. And
that one you can't put on me. No, you're going to put it on me.
No, I put it on Comcast. I put it.
Okay, I was going to say other than that, I got to run a string or something to.
So what we're trying, Comcast, is we supposedly I went online and ordered for Tom because Tom doesn't understand online ordering.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Wait a minute. When you want something from Amazon, what do you call? Who do you said, Don, would you order that for me?
Yeah, I understand you have to get on the World Wide Web or something.
Yeah, you do.
To do that.
So it said I could order him Comcast Business to his neighborhood, which guarantees 300 up and 300 down. So there is an appointment scheduled for Monday.
This Monday?
This Monday.
All right, I better write that down
to
somewhere.
come in and install better internet. But the only company that serves his house, this is just shocking to me in the 21st century, the only company that serves his house out on the edge of the United States, right at the border, is Comcast.
That's funny coming from a guy who's on the other border. You're on the southern border, I'm on the northern border. You're on a border too. So
water all around me.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So Comcast is coming on Monday.
What
about Elon Musk's thing where they got the little balls floating around in the air?
They're oversubscribed. I tried to get them for you, and they said maybe 2022 if you're lucky.
Well, if I survive.
I guess they need more satellites. 855-935-TALK. Give us a call.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Set your course for a great future with a free copy of our 60-page Better Retirement Guidebook at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hey, hi, welcome back. 855-935-TALK. That's our phone number for questions. But we also take your questions via TalkingRealMoney.com. You can send them in that way. And so we get a lot of those. But this one is a very interesting one because, well, let me just read you the question. I'm going to leave out a few facts, but I'm going to give you enough that you'll know who the heck we're talking about, but I'm not going to say it. You're probably going to figure this out. Okay? I recently listened to a show from so-and-so at so-and-so who also has a radio show on a big Seattle station at the same time as Talking Real Money.
What? First of all, that's outrageous.
I know.
I thought everybody else went dark while we were on, but okay.
And I was surprised that his pitch was all about replacing bonds with indexed annuities.
Now I know who we're talking about. Yeah, sure.
He did answer my question of what his commission was on the annuity, which was 7%. Lord, that's
only
7%. Well, no, there are a lot of them that are 7%. I've looked them up. Typically it's 7 or 8. There's some that go as high as 10 or more.
Index annuity is the one where you get the returns of the stock market with none of the risk.
No, you get the returns of something that resembles the stock market, but only a portion of the returns up to a cap, and they never end up being as high as they make you think they're going to be. And they're not income-generating vehicles because some years they don't go up, other years they go up a fraction of what the market goes up. The average annual return on these things has been averaging in the 3% range. Those are the facts about indexed annuities. They're not what people tell you, and they claim they're absolutely safe, which is absolutely a lie because they're backed by insurance companies. However, I continue with the note. But he considers himself a fiduciary because because he felt that there was no better option to indexed annuities when replacing bonds in a portfolio, and he posed the question to me to provide a better option, which I found odd. Is there a way to be a fiduciary and sell indexed annuities?
Yeah, I'm going to say no, because I don't think you can get a commission product.
That's right.
And be a fiduciary, because that does create a conflict
of interest.
Yeah.
The fiduciary responsibility is all about managing conflicts of interest and disclosing all conflicts of interest.
It's not really about because I think what he's saying is, well, I'm doing this because it's the best thing for you.
Yeah.
I don't know that bonds would be better. I think personally they would be far better, but that's a argument I guess we could have with him at some point.
But let me just tell you that remember a couple of years ago when the Department of Labor was trying to enforce a rule on all retirement plans that fell under ERISA that would require everyone to act as a fiduciary when advising a retirement plan. Well, that got killed by Congress. But let me tell you, the U.S. Department of Labor, in their fiduciary rule, specifically stated that indexed annuities would not fit as suitable products for a fiduciary advisor to pitch to their clients. So he can believe he is a fiduciary all he wants, but if he actually believes that, then he's lying to himself. He's really just he's convinced himself that it's true because it makes him so blasted much money. Let me tell you what a better alternative is. A better alternative is something that doesn't cost 7%. A better alternative is something that has a high degree of stability, that is available, that you can get in and out of at will. You cannot get in and out of that thing at will. It is not a liquid investment. You cannot get out without paying a huge surrender fee. And FINRA does not consider them to be fiduciary vehicles.
And you can get securities that are guaranteed by the U.S. government or securities guaranteed by an insurance company. You decide which is more secure.
Right, exactly. And here's and this is really what it comes down to. How are they returning 3% per year when safe bonds are at maybe 1.5%? They're taking more risk.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
A second opinion could save your life either physically or fiscally. Let one of our Vestory advisors help you save your future at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
You know, the one thing I got to give the guy credit for, the financial dude on the radio, is at least he said there was a commission. Most of the people who sell index annuities say, there's no commission. No.
The company pays me.
The company pays me. You don't pay it. You don't pay it. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935.
So 7%? Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
What? 7%?
I mean, think that through. I mean, on $100,000, that's a whole lot of money for an afternoon's work.
Yeah. You see, that to me,
it's just
even if you can make the argument that it's a good product, I don't know how you can, with a clear conscience, sell somebody something that has a 7% commission associated with it.
I don't know how you can't.
How you can't what?
Sell it. I mean, just think if you're sitting there with someone.
Yeah.
And you could put them in the Vanguard Total Bond Fund that makes you nothing.
Right.
Or you could sell them this annuity product that makes you, as I said, $7,000 on $100,000.
Yeah.
It would be hard for anyone.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is that I'm supposedly a fiduciary advisor.
I'm saying human nature, though, would be so tough.
How is it that so many 100% fiduciary firms are so adamantly opposed, really truly despise the indexed annuity concept, and don't succumb to that pressure?
Yeah, no, I agree. But they have a culture, you know, and I don't want to brag, but our cultures will help anyone, whether you become a client or not, which people have found. But they truly have a culture that says we're here to help people. It's not about the profits of the enterprise.
Do you know how much we would have made if we sold all of our clients indexed annuities? If we sold
on the bond port?
No, we just sold them all because they sell it for the stock portion too. For a lot,
that's true.
A lot of these guys, they sell it for the whole thing. It's just buy this. How much? No, you don't have to figure it out. I got it. 15.
So we're at about $700 million right now.
$50 million. Have we made $50 million?
No.
Have we made $5 million? No.
Could I trade in the Honda at that point? Could I get the Goldwing Tesla? Would that be okay?
Or stuff.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. And
it's a lot of money.
The other thing we're not selling and we're not going to ever sell is this these cryptocurrency things. But there's a new thing out there. I don't want to call it a scam just yet, but I might. Do you remember back in the old days on the radio there were these commercials when we had payphones? Remember the day?
Yeah.
And you could buy a bunch of payphones and then take them out and have them put into businesses, restaurants and all kinds of businesses. They'll put your payphone in and then you collect the money.
Yeah. All those nickels and dimes and quarters are yours.
It was also done with vending machines, and it turned out what you got was a little tiny, like 10 by 18 box with little crank handles.
Okay, that was a scam. But the payphone thing, I think they actually were selling payphones.
They were selling payphones, but you could never find any place to put them, and you'd never make enough money from a couple of quarters once in a while.
Well, and this was during a period of time when people still had cellular phones.
Right. The payphones were going away at that time. And then some people got really clever and started selling little baby ATMs. It's like, take it down to the corner market and had them put it in on the counter. It was a little countertop ATM. Well, now there's a new one. It's the Bitcoin ATM. You can become a Bitcoin ATM magnet. And they only cost like $3,000 to $10,000 per ATM.
Well, yeah, but you probably then got to split the money that you make, which will tell you in just – you thought 7% was a big commission. That's a mere nothing. So this is where you actually take money down.
Right.
Put it into the ATM. See, now I'm used to taking money out of an ATM, but in this case you're putting the money in.
You put the money in the ATM.
And then
what do you get in return?
Yeah. You get
hot air.
Well, first of all, you have to have your wallet, right? Your
Bitcoin
wallet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to have your Bitcoin wallet. You put the money in.
Which is a number. And your Bitcoin wallet is merely a number.
Yeah. Don't forget the number.
Don't forget the
number. You put the money in. You buy Bitcoin that goes into your Bitcoin wallet.
Right.
And this is, you think we're making this up?
No,
we're not making.
No, what's the name of the company? Coinbase or something?
CoinSource.
CoinSource. Okay.
There's already a lot of these. I mean, we looked it up. There's one a couple blocks down from the office in Bellevue.
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all over the place. So, and apparently they are standalone units. These are not, you can't go do this at your regular old credit union.
These serve one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to take in your money and
we'll
give
talk
you
more about this.
Basically nothing in return. And I found some near me, too, and they're, wait till we tell you the kind of places where these hang out. Yeah. 855-935 is our phone number, 855-935-TALK. Give us a call. We'll talk about your life.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom and I created Vestory to help everyone become a better investor, even those who will never be clients. Let one of our advisors help you start your financial plan or solve a money problem free with no obligation or high-pressure sales pitch at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
And once again, our phone number is 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. We got a line open. Somebody dropped, so give us a call. We're talking just briefly about the dumbest thing ever, I think. One of the dumbest things ever. Bitcoin ATMs. It's not a place where you go to get money. Oh, I need some cash. No. No, I need some non-cash. I have cash. I have more cash than I know what to do with. And I need to turn it into something else. So you can go, and I looked. I'm thinking, okay, wait, this place, CoinSource, where can I go? I live close to Walt Disney World, celebrating its 50th anniversary, which I'm mad at them about, by the way.
Yeah?
I'll tell you more about that later. Because, anyway. So I thought, well, there's got to be an ATM near Disney World, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's one.
Okay.
One.
Yeah.
It's down the street from me. It's about a half a mile down the street.
Half a mile? That's close.
Yeah, about a half a mile. At a hotel, which makes sense.
Yeah.
The hotel is they call themselves a 3-star hotel. Google gives them 2.3 stars. It's called the Saralago Hotel. I know it.
Excuse me, the Saralago?
Saralago. Sera. I know the place. It's
familiar ring to it, yes.
Kind of dumpy. Holiday Inn took their name off of it. They said, no, you can't be a Holiday Inn anymore. So there's
a message. Yeah.
But anyway, this hotel right now, you want to book a room during the 50th anniversary of Disney World?
How much?
$30 a night.
No.
Yes,
what?
Right there. I'm looking at it tonight. I can get a room at the Saralago for $30. That tells you how
no-tell or something, huh? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And if you want one for an hour, it's only $12.
Yeah, I was waiting for that ta-dum bum. Too easy. So there's where you could go. You know where I could go?
Yeah, tell me about your place. Where is it? I'm sure it's somewhere nicer because it's Seattle.
Far more reputable.
Yeah.
Now, this has nothing to do with the brand of the particular
No, we're not making fun of the brand.
No, but they do seem to have a lot of them at this brand.
Yeah.
Shell gasoline station.
That's because Shell has a lot of independent stations. They don't own their own stations.
So somebody probably runs in and says, guess what? You put this in and you get to split some of the revenues, which we have not shared the commission amount yet.
That's the best part of all.
Yeah.
When you put $100 in.
Not quite that amount is invested. No. Not quite.
How much do they get actually invested, Tom?
89. 11% commission.
So you put 100 in. Wait, so you put 100 in, you immediately lose forever $11.
Yeah, that's pretty fast.
Okay, and then what happens to the rest of the money? It becomes Bitcoin, which is, I just don't see it.
No, I think you're doing the right thing there.
Which is?
It's nothing. Thank you. That's what it becomes. So, I mean, when I read this, first of all, I didn't believe it because I heard the ads. They're running a lot of radio commercials for this.
Yeah.
I heard the ads. And I thought,
we in trouble again?
Probably.
Are we in trouble again?
I heard the ads and I thought, that is really weird. So, but then when we started looking into it and the fact that you don't take money out of this ATM, you put it in and it disappears into wherever, whatever, my immediate thought was, well, wait a minute. Do we really need these? Don't we still have bridges? I mean, or burn barrels or, something. Just throw the money somewhere else because apparently you have so much of it that you just can't deal with it, I guess. I don't know.
There's a moral in here somewhere. There is a moral in here. I can the moral. It's this simple. Anything that costs that much to transact is a terrible currency. If it costs 11% every time you make a transaction, because guess what? If you take it the other way, you're going to pay a commission to somebody to turn your Bitcoin back into dollars.
Okay, but now to be in all fairness in terms of the transaction expenses, because I believe which Central American country now relies on Bitcoin as their currency?
El Salvador.
Yeah, that move cost Western Union, I think it was like $50 million, because for transfers from the United States to someone in El Salvador, they charged some ridiculous like 30% commission.
Oh.
So when they went, we're not letting, you don't need to do that anymore. We're sending it all by, the blockchain technology. It cost, I think it was like $50 million, but the commissions were outrageous.
Yeah, well,
for you to send money overseas. And we're getting a little off the track. But yes, any financial transaction that costs anything near, I think 7%, frankly, is outrageous in today's world. I think 5.5% is outrageous.
I'm actually looking at this. Some of the Bitcoin ATMs will turn your Bitcoin back into cash.
Oh, okay.
At 11%.
So you put it in for 11. Wait, that sounds like a 22% turn there. Wow. Well, I mean, congratulations to all those wonderful people that own the gas stations that are now come up with a brand new way of creating revenue without even doing anything, Don. Just shelf space.
It's going to end up going the way of the infomercial payphones. It's going to be that thing that the guy has on his wall at the gas station that sits there and collects dust for 30 years until somebody buys it and tears it down and puts up a McDonald's. That's the way it's going to be.
I would love to know the number of people that have run down with that extra $20 and popped it into Bitcoin.
Yeah. Why would you?
I'd be curious.
Why would you? This is a solution in search of a problem.
Exactly.
What problem does a Bitcoin ATM solve? If you want to buy Bitcoin, you can go to Robinhood and buy Bitcoin.
Sure.
But why do you need to go to an ATM? Isn't that a teeny little transaction? And so you're going to put $100 in. You're going to end up with $89, which you can take somewhere and spend. But then they're going to charge you a commission to spend it with them, which may be another $5 or $6. So you're ending up, who's making money on this? Not you.
Not hard to figure out, no. And originally, as I said, I thought these were ATMs that just added Bitcoin. But no, these are brand new ATM machines. By the way, when you go in to do your ATM in the convenience store, make sure you're doing it the right one because you can end up with a lot of money in Bitcoin by accident. So make sure you go to the right ATM machine when you're there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I do not.
Well, one's going to be right next to the other. So you may go in and start pushing buttons and find out you just bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin or something instead of taking a transaction.
Vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. Don't mess up is what I'm saying because it can be very expensive.
But remember, the Bitcoin machine is going to say, please give us your money.
Deposit $100
or your
now,
debit card.
Exactly. Your debit card. Oh, God. Yeah, there's a great one. Then they'll throw the surcharge of the debit card on top of that, too.
Of course they will.
Perfect.
Of course. They're no dummies.
Please.
I see. I'm looking at the trading fees on Bitcoin through just, see, if you don't go through an ATM, then the fee is like a 10th of 1% to trade on some Bitcoin exchanges. But 11% through a machine, somebody's making out like a bandit, and it's not the clients. 855-935-8255 is our telephone number.
Can I mention Paul Merriman real quick before we let the hour go?
20 seconds.
The James Clunan Award for Excellence in Education given to Paul Merriman yesterday by our friends at AAII. Congratulations to Paul. How's that? Under the 20 seconds.
Nicely done. 855-935-TALK. Give us a call. We'll talk about your life, your money. You can call that number 24/7.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Want a free copy of my book, Financial Physics? Well, go download it right now at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
And in case you were wondering, the average ATM fee for buying Bitcoin in a machine, putting money in and then taking Bitcoin out, oh, look, I got a handful of Bitcoin, is 8.4%. And the opposite direction is 5.4%. And if you desperately need someone to personally talk you out of buying cryptocurrencies, we have fee-only fiduciary advisors who will, for no fee whatsoever, no commission, no fee, talk you out of it or help you with any other problem as long as it's within a finite period of time for nothing, no obligation, no high-pressure sales pitch. Just go to Vestory.com, Vestory.com, or call 800-386-3004. That is Vestory.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That should keep the lawyers happy.